First, my best friend hated my husband. She thought he was short, pathetic, and simp. By simp, she meant he loved and respected me and didn't play games. He was so confident in himself that he told me he liked me after the third date, and when he proposed, he admitted that he was in love with me from our first date. I am so in love with him, and her kidding didn't bother me. All I did and said was that I wished her to experience real love. Only then would she understand why I was with him. That was on my wedding day when she again was kidding. My sister told her that her passive aggressiveness was showing that she wasn't fooling anyone. The rest of the girls laughed. For 2 years now, she's never spoken ill about him. I was very relieved in the beginning, but then I started to wonder. She's too nice to him, always complimenting his looks. She usually doesn't even hug hello. She says she's autistic and can't, but now she hugs and kisses him high, always sits beside him. She texted him memes and told me they had the same humor, but they don't. I didn't know what to do. Should I say something to any of them? My husband is oblivious and I don't want to hurt her if I'm mistaken. 2 weeks ago, she texted my husband that she was in love with him. He didn't answer her, so she sent him hello. He asked her to stop because he was very uncomfortable and didn't reciprocate her feelings. I loved her, so she shouldn't do this again. A week later, she sent him some spicy pictures of herself. At that, my husband told me everything. He said he wasn't sure at first, but she made a move on him a month ago, and then he showed me the text. I was very angry and disappointed. He told me he was blocking her now. So last Sunday, I just confronted her when we were out for dinner. It was the same usual friend group. I blurred her body and her face and sent everyone screenshots of what she'd sent to my husband. I asked her what she thought about that, and she was livid. She's so angry at me, calling me an abuser and an idiot. But for me, if what she was doing wasn't wrong, then she wouldn't be ashamed of me outing her, would she? We were basically raised together since we were 4, but we're not friends anymore. I give up. Obviously, she's angry because she's been called out for her bad behavior. You are not the idiot, but you need to cut this woman out, and probably should have a long time ago. Ignore the sunk cost fallacy of, but we've known each other for so long, and just cut her out. Support your husband. She wouldn't be upset if she was proud of what she sent. Who knows about it? Not only do you know what a piece of crap backstabber she is, the whole friend group now knows. You did the rest of your friends a service. They now know if she'll do that to someone she's known since she was 4, she'll do anything to them and have no problem doing it. She's not your friend. She tried to steal your husband at worst. At the least, she tried to have an affair with him. I love the petty. You outed that witch. Cheating scum hates getting exposed. You did nothing wrong by exposing it. You even did it as a courtesy by hiding her body. And if you had publicly outed her with evidence to friends, she would have trashed you to them with some fake story. Don't feel too bad. Sometimes you must push back strongly, or people will try to walk all over you. You clearly communicated that won't be happening. I eat meat. I'm not a vegetarian or a vegan. I like the taste of meat. I just try not to eat it very much. It's a personal moral choice and I do not begrudge anyone their taste in food. My dad does not treat my taste the same way. Whenever I see my parents, my dad makes sure there's meat in every dish. He says he just likes the flavour. For example, he insists on dressing the salad with anchovies or bacon bits. Roasted Brussels sprouts, covered in bacon bits. You name it, he adds meat to it to try and bend me to his will. I usually pick the meat off or I eat the food. It's not worth arguing over. My father hates green beans and onions. My grandmother used to make him eat them. I love my grandmother, but maybe she wasn't the best mom. She was a fantastic grandmother though, and she taught me how to cook. I can make anything she used to make. She gave me her recipe cards. I've shared them with the family, but they only have the ingredients. There's more to it. My parents had a potluck and I brought them some of my dad's favourite food. I can prepare it exactly like his mom did. I added onions and green beans. I like the flavour. He took a couple of big servings of the 2 things I brought. His face went green when he bit into one of them. Then he went exploring in the other and found the veggies. He came over and asked why I did that. I asked him what he was talking about. He said that I put crap he hates in his food. I pointed at the table and asked if he put meat in the salad and vegetables. He admitted that he had. Then he moped since he was looking forward to what I brought. Like I said, I know exactly how to make the food he loves. My mom and grandma never got along, so she never learned, and my brother doesn't cook much. I ate the food that I'd brought, and some spinach dip in a sourdough loaf my brother's girlfriend had brought. I nibbled on a few other things from family and friends that looked yummy. I avoided food with meat. My dad talked to me that night. He said I was being childish by putting stuff he doesn't like in food meant for sharing. I asked him why he insisted on putting meat, which I try not to eat, on all the food he and my mom put out. He didn't have an answer. I feel petty because I don't cook that often, and I know no one else makes food the way he loves. But I think he needed to understand how he treats me and how that makes me feel. We'll see if he changes. So, am I the idiot for putting ingredients I know my dad hates? Honestly, it was a perfect way to give him a taste of his own medicine. You're not the idiot for this. Sometimes people need perspective to realize the effect of their actions. Dad, respect is a two-way street. Just as I don't force my dietary choices on you, please don't force meat into every dish. Let's share meals with mutual consideration. Dad, why are you treating me the same way I treat you? You're so mean. Childish problems require childish solutions. It sticks when someone puts things you don't eat in the food, doesn't it? Especially when it would be so easy to make just one dish without those things so the person could eat them. Well, now he knows how it feels. It sounds like he deserved petty revenge to me, and honestly, it's not that hard to accommodate someone's dietary choices, especially because it's not like you're asking for everything to be veggie. It sounds like you just want something you can eat, and he's being a man-child about it. Some folks only have a clue when they experience it from the other end. You could give him a copy of The Stork and the Fox fable to help it sink in. I have 3 sons and they're all married. I have 3 daughters-in-law and I get along well with 2 of them. I do not get along with Holly. I find her to be a two-faced witch. I'm not going to hide that I don't like her. The reason I think this is because she will talk crap about people behind their backs. She's done it with the other daughter-in-law and with me. One example I can think of was during their wedding. I gave the couple a Le Creuset small set because they wanted a good cooking equivalent. Later, I heard her saying it wasn't the colour she wanted and that I was cheap for getting the small set. She does this often. You try to do something nice for her and then she complains about you. It could be anything that isn't up to her standards. I've distanced myself from her and I don't like interacting with her at all. I'm okay with not being close to her at all. I have a summer home and I allowed my other daughter-in-law to hold events up there. I got a call from my son and daughter-in-law asking to use it for their baby shower. I told them no. This started an argument about me not treating them like the other family members and me pointing out that the other family members are not two-faced idiots. They called me a jerk and the family is split. Some think I'm being too harsh and others think it's deserved. Edit. Here are some more examples. My eldest daughter-in-law had a housewarming party. After it, Holly told everyone that her taste was crap and tacky. At the oldest grandkid's birthday, Holly told how the eldest daughter-in-law looked like crap, couldn't lose the baby weight and was a bad parent. My youngest daughter-in-law is a big reader. She had dinner at their place. Holly comments about all her books and implies that books are her only friends. She made a lot of comments about her clothes. The biggest one was at their wedding. Holly made a comment that the bride should be wearing red since she looks like crap in white. For people who don't know, saying a bride should wear red is calling her a whore. Another one was when I was hosting Easter and she went after all my cooking. She's attacked my clothes multiple times, saying I'm too old to dress like I do, but I mostly wear jeans. These are just the ones I've heard from her mouth. There have been more, but I heard that secondhand. Not the idiot. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth is a common phrase for a reason. You can't trash and bash people and then expect them to accommodate your needs. From your examples, it seems she mainly attacks other women. Is she very friendly with the men in the family? Like in a way that she wants to be perceived as the number one female? And that could be the reason behind her behaviour, even though it's a garbage reason. Either way, your daughter-in-law sounds like a capital B, and your son should have shut down these comments long ago, but he didn't, so now he doesn't get access to the summer house. Oh well. You seem fine with a restricted relationship with both, so go enjoy your other daughters-in-law. OP in a few years. But why do they never let me see my grandkids? You are the idiot. If you don't want to allow the use of property for the shower, you're allowed to say no. But before you do, and close the door on your relationship with this part of your family, you could try to reach an understanding with her. You don't have to like her, but maybe there's a reason she's so awful. Maybe she's not as awful as you think. At the end of the day, who you marry impacts your relationship with others. While OP may love her son and would love to know her non-existent grandkids, she does not have to also sacrifice self-respect and her own mental health. The moral of the story is that there is no obligation to have a close, loving relationship with everyone someone in your family marries. You don't even have to have that with your blood relatives. Relationships are formed based on how you treat people and how you are perceived. My husband's nephew moved into his grandparents' home at 16. He's now 24 and still lives there with his girlfriend, who doesn't work, and her pre-tween daughter. They do not clean much, if at all, and are sloppy in many ways. Just recently his father, the grandpa, passed away, and his nephew is still living there without paying bills. We're in the process of closing the estate. He will have to either move or find a way to pay all the bills. He doesn't make enough, and his girlfriend, 28 years old, doesn't work. My husband wants them to move into our home so he can keep Dad's 401k, muscle cars, etc. I do not want them to move in. We do not have children. We are both 40 and have 3 cats. I feel that if they move in, they will not leave. In fact, I'm about 97% sure of this. The fact that the nephew's girlfriend doesn't work or support her own child, who is not his, really bothers me. I halfway caved and said the nephew could move in, but my husband said he wasn't breaking up a family. They're not married, and I feel this is too much. My husband could give them money to set them up in an apartment or townhome, something, but he feels that it's setting him up for failure, that in a year he will be back with nowhere to live. I feel it's not our responsibility to take care of a grown nephew and the people he chooses to date, nor is it our responsibility if he goes out into the world and cannot make it on his own. However, I would help them if they make a real effort. This has caused a huge rift between us. My husband at this point has said he will do whatever he feels necessary and I can deal with it. I said in anger that if he did so, I would be moving out along with my animals. I know if they do move in, I will end up going off on them and asking them to move out. I do not do well with others in my living space. I need my sanctuary or my anxiety goes through the roof. So it looks like I'm out of luck either way. So am I the idiot for not wanting to take them in? Edit, the nephew is doing the best he can with the amount he makes and is trying. His girlfriend is not sleeping until noon daily and will not get a driver's license even though we bought her a car. Most mornings she doesn't even take her child to the bus stop. My nephew has to do so as well as make an effort to clean up. The child is in elementary school and is not home between 8 and 3:30 p.m. My husband hasn't worked in 6 months and went into his retirement to do so, to take care of his father dying of cancer. Inheritance-wise, monetarily, there's not enough to pay off his father's house, truck and debts. We'd have to sell his father's pride and joy muscle car. The nephew is not a caveat of the inheritance. My husband just feels responsible. I do understand that, but not to this extent. Not the idiot. He chose his nephew, not you. Time to create an exit strategy. Find an attorney and begin a legal separation. Give him 6 months to figure out the stupidity of his position. When he has no one to offset the consequences of his decision, such as living in a messy house, he may change his mind. Dear God, why is that your or your husband's problem? These adults need to support themselves, especially the grown lazy mother of 28. She sounds embarrassing. They need to fall on hard times and not be saved by others, so she works and they sort their own lives out. They're just being enabled by your husband paying for things. OP, you should be thinking through this whole situation. Your husband is going to let his nephew, nephew's girlfriend, and her child move in. They will probably remain living with you for years. If you really do not want to be in this situation, your option is to move out. You say that husband took early retirement to help his father through his final illness. Are you employed? If not, I suggest you get out there and find a job pronto. Whatever money you earn, tuck it away toward a moving out fund. If you take this to the furthest possibility, you'd also want money for a divorce attorney. I'm not saying all this will happen, but you better at least formulate a plan. Either you find a way to live with these messy people in your home, or you make a plan to exit the situation. Best of luck. I'm so tired of unclear communication. My wife has a habit of saying things she doesn't mean. She'll say it's fine, but after the event she gets mad. She does this all the time. For example, I ask if she wants to join a work event. She agrees to go, we go, and then in the car she's angry she must go. I literally gave her the option not to go. This has happened over and repeatedly. She's done this and so many other things. I asked if she wanted me to grab takeout and she said no. Then she gets angry when I get home because she's tired and doesn't want to cook. So then I cooked and she was still angry the whole night since I didn't get takeout. I've talked to her many times, asking her to be honest with me. I cannot read her mind. I just can't. Her birthday was yesterday and I've been asking her what she wants to do for the last month. Repeatedly, she told me she didn't want to do anything. I get her a small cake and a gift. Well, she was upset that I didn't surprise her with a night out. This started an argument. My point is that I did what she asked. She told me I was a jerk and I should have planned something for her birthday. She isn't talking to me. And my sister said I'm also an idiot. So am I? Not the idiot. She seems more interested in setting up these little tests or picking fights than communicating as your partner. It would have been so easy for her to say, "I'd love a night out, just keep it a surprise." Job done. You've repeatedly asked her to be honest and she refuses. Maybe you can use this as an example in the future. If she says she doesn't want to do something, as in, "Is this like your birthday where you do actually want to do X but won't tell me?" I'm not sure how else to drive the point home. You can't read her mind. She needs to learn to be honest with you. She's emotionally abusive. This is her way of discharging a negative feeling she acquired elsewhere. It doesn't even need to make sense to her. She's angry at something she can't do anything about, and she discharges that anger by manufacturing a situation and providing a facial, if insultingly laughable, excuse to make you the target of her anger. Boom, anger discharged. An abuser I will be divorcing does the same. I'd advise you to think very closely about her patterns of behavior. She is setting you up for failure.